Okay, next naman is yung streptomycin. Streptomycin, siya ay nagbabind sa 30S o 30S ribosomal subunit ng mga bacterial ribosomes. Ngayon, yung pag-bind niya doon sa 30S, nag-interfere siya nag-alter siya doon sa protein synthesis na magkakos ng misreading ng mRNA or messenger RNA and nadidisrupt yung pinaka-translation. Ngayon, nangyayari, yung bacterial ribosome, nai-inhibit yung protein synthesis. Kaya, yun, very crucial yun pagdating sa bacterial growth and replication. Since yung ating human cells have 80S ribosome, one is consisting 40S and the other one is 60S subunits, which are structurally different from bacterial 70S ribosomes. So yung streptomycin, this specifically targets the 30S ribosomal subunit of bacteria. Kaya hindi naman niya naapektuhan yung human ribosomes. Okay? So, yun. Next, let's proceed with the healthcare-associated infection. So, yung mga healthcare-associated infection, pwede ito yung halimbawa ay UTI, no? Urinary tract infection. So, this often caused by indwelling catheters or other urinary devices. At siya yung isa sa mga common, no, na hospital-acquired infections. Last time, pinag-usapan natin to the healthcare-associated infection tsaka community-associated infection. And we were also able to be oriented with one of the clinical case study that talks about Staphylococcus aureus, no? So, next, let's have SSIs, or yung surgical site infections. So, these are infections that occur at the site of a surgical procedure. Commonly, nagkakaroon ng contamination during surgery or post-operative complications. Next is yung pneumonia. So, yung pneumonia, this is hospital-acquired pneumonia, no? To be specific, is acquired, include also in the ventilator-associated pneumonia, no? Is acquired by using the mechanical ventilation ng mga pasyente na may compromised respiratory function, no? Next, we have the BSIs, the BSIs or the bloodstream infection. So, can result from the use of intravenous catheters or maybe central lines and often involve pathogens, no? At kaya pumasok to sa ating bloodstream yung mga pathogens. Next, let's have mga vulnerable patients sa hospital settings. First one is yung mga immunocompromised patients. So, ito yung mga patient na may mahinang immune system dahil siguro sa disease or medication. So, they are more susceptible to infections. Next is yung mga patients with invasive devices. So, kadalasan yung mga catheters, mga central lines, or yung iba pang mga invasive devices, very high yung risk na infection na pwedeng makos nitong mga devices to. Next, we have the post-surgical patients. So, sila yung mga patients na, syempre, after surgery, may mga entry points yung mga pathogens na pwedeng mag-compromise sa immune system ng mga pasyente and making these patients vulnerable to infections. And then next, we have patients on mechanical ventilation. So, mechanical ventilation increases the risk of ventilator-associated pneumonia and other respiratory infection. And then lastly, we have the neonates and elderly patients. So, both neonates and elderly patients have underdeveloped or weakened immune systems. But what makes them susceptible to infections? So, ano yung mga antiseptic agents? We have the alcohol. Siyempre, very effective against a wide range of bacteria and viruses. Ginagamit siya for hand sanitizing and surface disinfection. Next, we have the chlorhexidine. This one, we're using it for skin disinfection and preoperative skin cleansing or cleansing, and effective against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Next is yung mga iodine. So, effective antiseptic for skin and wound cleaning with broad-spectrum antimicrobial activity. And then we have the hydrogen peroxide. So, this one is an antiseptic with bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal properties. Gamit siya panglinis ng mga sugat, pag-disinfect ng mga surfaces. And then lastly, we have the alcohol-based sanitizers. So this contains alcohol and are used for hand hygiene to reduce the spread of pathogens in clinical setting. Now let's proceed with some common let's have this one. Okay, this one. Let's have some common gram-positive bacteria. Mga samples. Though, pwede pa kayong magdagdag ng mga list niyo based on our pwede pa magdagdag based on our discussion on your notes sa inyong pinaka part ng gram-positive and gram-negative. So, yung ating mga gram-positive bacteria, specifically in the cocci that causes nosocomial infections. So, we have Staphylococcus aureus and Enterococcus. So, si Staphylococcus, common cause siya ng healthcare-associated infections katulad ng sugat, bloodstream infection, pneumonia. Tapos may mga strain nga ng Staphylococcus na mga methicillin resistant. Supposedly dapat effective sa kanila yung gamot, pero hindi sila naapektuhan ng gamot, and that is a part of that strain, the MRSA. So, yun ang particular concern natin dito, no, sa Staphylococcus aureus. Next, we have the Enterococcus species. So, often responsible for UTI, wound infection, tsaka yung BSI. Okay? Ito. And then, kadalasan yan, may mga patients na may mga compromised immune system, or kaya naman yung may mga invasive procedure na ginawa, yan, mga possible na magkasakit. Okay, next, we have yung mga gram-negative. We have the E. coli. First, we have the E. coli. So, yung E. coli, common cause siya ng mga surgical site infections. Pwede rin mag-cause ng bloodstream infections, no? Next, we have, these are gram-negative na, no? Next, we have the Pseudomonas. So, yung mga Pseudomonas, some of their species known for its resistance to antibiotics at kaya mag-cause ng infection sa lungs, sa urinary tract, and even in wounds. Next, we have the Klebsiella pneumoniae. So, this causes pneumonia from the word per se. So, UTI and bloodstream infections, and often associated sila sa mga resistant strain. And then, we have Acinetobacter baumannii. So, ito ay a significant cause ng mga hospital-acquired infections, including pneumonia, bloodstream infections, and wound infection. And yun yung pinaka kilala sila, no? And also sa kanilang antibiotic resistance.